Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on King Richard II, and today we get to hear from the Duke of York in Act 2, Scene 3. So things that have happened. King Richard has gone off to fight a war in Ireland because the Irish were planning an attack, and pretty much as soon as he left, Bolingbroke landed back on the island of England, Bolingbroke having been banished for 6 years. 6 years have not passed at this point, but he is coming back with a French contingent to overthrow England again. Also, King Richard took all of John of Gaunt's money when John of Gaunt died so that he could finance the wars in Ireland. Henry Bolingbroke is the son of John of Gaunt, so that was his entire inheritance that Richard took to go fight sort of a needless war in Ireland. So anyway, Bolingbroke is coming back. And at the beginning of Act 2, Scene 3, it starts out with just sort of all of these people gathering to him. Ross, Willoughby, who is he chatting with? Northumberland, a whole bunch of other people. They all sort of gather together, and they're outside Castle Berkeley, where they believe the Duke of York is inside. And they're all sort of telling tales about how disillusioned with the king's reign lots of people are becoming. You know, the general feeling in the country now is that Richard is not doing well. The people aren't like being taxed for all these wars. A lot of the noble people don't like that Richard took Gaunt's money to go fight the wars, all that sort of thing. So Bolingbroke actually has a pretty good contingent on his side of some pretty powerful people, in addition to the French contingent that he brought with him. So now they're outside Castle Berkeley, and a messenger comes out to say, I have a message for you. And Bolingbroke's like, I'm only going to talk to the king, and I'm only going to talk to Lancaster, meaning York. And then York comes out, and he's like, how dare you? And Bolingbroke is like, what did I do? And he's like, oh, you know exactly what you did. And he's like, no, like, my grace, your grace, I have no idea what he did. And he kneels down, and York says, tut, tut, grace me no grace, nor uncle me. I am no traitor's uncle, and that word grace in an ungracious mouth is but profane. Why have these banished and forbidden legs dared once to touch a dust of England's ground? But more than why? Why have they dared to march so many miles upon her peaceful bosom, frighting her pale-faced villages with war and ostentation of despised arms? Comest thou because the anointed king is hence? Why, foolish boy, the king is left behind, and in my loyal bosom lies his power. Were I but now the lord of such hot youth as when brave Gaunt, thy father, and myself rescued the Black Prince, that young Mars of men, from forth the ranks of many thousand French, then how quickly should this arm of mine, now prisoner to the palsy, chastise thee and minister correction to thy fault. So York's not having any of it. He's like, you are not supposed to be back here. And the fact that you might be marching against the king, I am still loyal to the king. So you are a traitor to me, and you are a traitor to the crown. And if I was a more young and vibrant youth like I used to be, if I still had the strength that I used to be, and I wasn't old and frail and sick, I would beat the crap out of you right now, is basically what he's saying. And Bolingbroke has some thoughts on that. He has an answer that's actually, I think, kind of a reasonable answer, but that's my opinion. And you can have an opinion about it after you hear it tomorrow, unless you already know it. So feel free to leave a comment if you already know tomorrow's monologue or know what Bolingbroke is going to say, or if you have any thoughts on what York said today. Anyway, that's it for today's Shakesyear, and I will see you tomorrow for more when we hear from Henry Bolingbroke. Mwah.